Now, if you talked to me about 6 years ago, I would have told you I'm not at all a creative person. I don't have a single creative bone inside my body. But that all changed until I found this book, The Artist's Way. To be honest with you, I don't really have a creative career yet, but what I've learned from it is that I have become a much happier person because of it. And I want to talk to you about this book because maybe like me, you were wondering if you could ever pursue being a creative or if you could make any arts whatsoever. And would you want to know if you could one day? So this book came to me at a divine calling, I would say, even though I'm not super religious. It was at a time when I was struggling with work and I really needed to find something new, a new purpose. I've heard about this book through YouTubers and things like that, but one morning I just woke up feeling the urge to really find this book and really start reading it. And I've never had any urge that strong. And during my lunch break, I just took off going to the nearest bookstore. I remember walking inside, looking around. I saw these two books that I've loved and read. One of them was called Doing Greatly by Brené Brown, and the other one was Becoming Supernatural. And in the middle of those two books, in the middle shelf, was this, the yellow cover, The Artist's Way. And it was perfectly placed, like it was waiting for me to get it that day. This book has really unlocked the mindset for me because growing up Asian, we have always been told that artists do not make money. And so when you graduate, you have to find a job that makes money and that does not involve anything creative whatsoever. Because it was so normal for everyone around me to just not be creative, or we were just told to get a job in a 9-to-5 and never think about, being an artist like painting, drawing, singing, dancing, anything like that. They have always painted a picture that artists has to be those who grew up rich and they have to have this superpower that is their talent. But from reading this, that is so untrue. Just going through the first week of The Artist's Way, I have been able to break so many of my existing mindset from my childhood and growing up Asian. The exercise was about cultivating safety in being a creative. It was so powerful for me to just craft out those monsters who really bashed your arts. Maybe it was like that primary school friends who said, "Ew, your art is so ugly." Those kind of things are a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and maybe people don't mean it, and perhaps I've done it to other people, but truly it's like a knife stabbing at your artist, your inner child. That was so eye-opening, and I can only imagine what it would be like if I've never break this mindset of artists are poor. I would have never started a YouTube channel, and I never would have go back into my dancing, my painting, all of these hobbies that really made my life colorful and rich and beautiful, and all these experiences that I've been able to. This book is like a 12-week course of self-transformation. Each week there are different themes where Julia Cameron will walk you through the different mindset and different exercises that you can do. But the most important things that you have to do is your morning pages, your artist date, and also some exercises that she set you out to do. So the process that I went through was I just went through the weeks one by one. There are weeks where life gets really difficult and I couldn't really finish them all, but I just keep pushing on. My favorite week of this book is actually week 4. It's called Recovering a Sense of Integrity. So what we had to do was to go offline for a whole week, and then we have to brainstorm a list of long lost and buried dreams. And what this did for me was that I suddenly remembered all these dreams that I had when I was a child. Like I wanted to be a manga artist, I wanted to be a vet, and all of these dreams, like being a spy and all these ridiculous things, just came back to me. It seems a bit pointless, right? But the point of this is to remember who you are, because in this world, when we are so overloaded by information and by other people's dreams and other people's thoughts, being able to know, and especially as an Asian, that what you truly wanted back when you were a child was your purest intention. And so that was my favorite week. About a few weeks into the exercise, I also started to see a lot more synchronicities happening in my life. I'm not sure if it's the red Ferrari effect, when you're thinking about a red Ferrari, you suddenly see them everywhere. But perhaps my mind was suddenly open to all these synchronicities and positive things that happened to my life. So I got a new job offer at the time. I was delighted. My life was suddenly changed 360. Like when I was getting this book, I was in the brink of, just quitting my job without having a plan. But then this new job offer came up. Of course, I applied for it and everything, but having this book really helped me to power through and to believe that there is something beyond this, to be beyond the 9 to 5 and beyond the work that was so soulless to me. Another thing to note is that because I wasn't really a really spiritual person, this book has really amped that up for me to discover my spirituality, because it was telling me to believe in the creator inside of me, and that to me was so difficult to grasp. And it is a concept that is probably difficult for many people who are not spiritual to grasp, but just stick with it and one day it will find you. That's what happened to me. And you know what? It really was the beginning of my self-healing and my spiritual journey. So what happens now? It's been 6 years. Do I feel like I am making money from art? Absolutely not. I don't think I will make money from art. Instead, I have embraced art as something that is my larger purpose in life. I think of art as something greater than life, that it is a service that I offer to the world, like these YouTube videos, to convey my messages, the things that I love. It just gave me so much joy to do them and create art every single time. And it's been 6 years, and a lot of things I've learned from this book have stuck with me. For example, the morning pages, even though that's now evolved into a different type of journaling, I still journal almost every single day. And in days where I do not journal, I feel like my mind is a jumbled mess. And I know that I just needed to journal to get all these thoughts out, because it helps me to think. It helps me to organize what is going inside my brain. And more often than not, these thoughts are so interesting and they're so valuable that they definitely deserve a place to go. Oh, hello! And when reading this book and going through this self-transformation journey, I really felt that a new identity was built. I became someone who believed that everyone can be a creative, and that everyone was sent on this earth to create, because that's what makes us happy. Just remember when you were last a kid, weren't you very happy to create a sandcastle or play with Play-Doh or just paint just for the sake of it? Because you're creating with your hands. I totally broke my old identity of thinking that I cannot pursue art. I simply now enjoy all my creative hobbies as much as I enjoy watching TV show on Netflix. So before, I used to think that making art and doing creative thing was silly. It was a waste of time. I'm not learning anything new. But the matter of fact is that we have to be able to enjoy doing nothing. And I found that with making art, it has allowed me to really escape this cycle of thoughts. It's just a constant stream of the same thought over and over again. And so by having a creative side and having creative hobbies, what I've been able to do is to tap into my flow state so much more often. Truly, it is something so wonderful that I've been so grateful to be able to tap into. I've stopped judging myself for making terrible art because believe me, you are your own worst critic. So you have to be kind to your inner child and to your inner artist. Just allow yourself to create again and again. I know a lot of artists who have created horrible work that they think were horrible, but turns out to be amazing work that loved by millions. Don't trust that inner critic. In the book, there is even some exercise that you can go through to combat this, and there's some tactic that are really worthwhile to go through. This book has really started a domino effect of me being curious about myself, my self-expression, and it started me on a journey of self-healing. What happened since then? I have gotten a lot more intimate with myself, my thoughts. Whereas before I thought that I am just me, but there is actually many layers inside of me, like my old self, like my little self, and the ones that shows up in different situations. So this book have been repeating this like a broken record, but it is truly a must-have for anyone. And it is so crazy to think about how many people are out there just wondering what to do with life, whereas life is just as simple as being a creator and offering your art as service to other people. When you create something that will mean so much to someone else who's going through the same journey, and they will feel so seen. And sometimes that is just enough. And that's why I have been making these videos, because I know that even though there are not a lot of people who are watching this, but someone out there who will resonate with these messages and know that they are not alone in this journey. And lately I've been finding myself being super hyper productive and not being able to live the words of wisdom of Julian Cameron. So I'm making these videos to really be accountable for my own words. And so I wanted to take a step back and just to remember to nurture that artist inside of me. And these are the takeaways that I think are very valuable from this book. And I hope that resonate with you. Anybody and everybody was born to be a creator if they're willing to. The moment you're born, you're inspired by all the amazing things around you. And so creating is your source of expressions and your gift to the world. Not to dial this down, but really going through this book is a big commitment. It is a 12 weeks intense course. And so you would have to really commit to yourself, and you really need to reorganize your life around making this course. But it is like I said, a self-transformation journey. It is so worth it. So why not try it, To be a creative doesn't mean that you have to work a 9 to 5 doing arts or creating graphic designs or anything like that. It could be a simple act of writing on your side project after work, or, making videography, taking photographs of your friends, family, pets, simply creating something. That is being a creative. And when you're being creative and you lose that spark of inspiration, that means that is a sign that you need to fill up your artist well. Because just like a well, the more often you take out water from it by creating, you need to make sure to consume things that inspire you or to rest so that this artist well will fill it up again. And you'll be back creating in no time. Artist days are a must because this is the time for you to get to know yourself and to nurture your artist inside of you. So take a little moment in your day every week to take yourself out to a park. Like today, I took myself to a picnic in the park. It's beautiful. Or go to an art gallery, see a movie by yourself. This is self-loving acts that will fill up your artist well.